Welcome to story time! One more time here from Hanoi in Vietnam. I'm still in the same spot as I was last time, but it's a different day, wearing different clothes. I could trick that, but I'm obviously not. So this is not the picture we're going to talk about, it's just a random picture that's hanging in my hotel room. I'm going to talk to you about this today. And this is not going to be just this one. There's going to be a couple. I'm going to swap them out because it's a pretty cool story. And I did have the rock star thing like 2 episodes ago. I was talking about having dated, not being dated. I went on a date with a rock star. So that was like one story, and it's a bit connected to today's story, and it's also fairly similar, but it's quite an epic one basically. So I met some massive rock stars in person, which was pretty awesome. So what happened was this. So I had like these, you probably recognize what this is. These are like backstage passes. That happened because I actually dated, like, for a longer time, dated a tour manager. And because of that, I had access to some pretty cool events, and obviously could go backstage and stuff as well. And that was quite nice. And the one I want to tell you about is about Riders on the Storm. And there's a pretty cool background story to this, which is, my life is very strange. I think I mentioned that before. And this was a very strange one. So in 2006, I was on like basically my first solo travel adventure in Paris. And while I was there, I also made sure to see the Père Lachaise cemetery over there, because Jim Morrison is buried there. First of all, it's I don't know how you call it, beautiful cemetery. It's pretty nice and spooky and stuff. But also because I wanted to visit Jim Morrison's grave. And it's not like I wasn't like the massive over the top The Doors fan or anything, but they still had quite an influence on me when I was having my very first boyfriend, and we were listening to The Doors quite a bit. So it's like, I'll have to see Jim's grave, right? So I went to the Père Lachaise cemetery, and it was pretty weird because there was his grave, and obviously you see people are writing on it, and they left some flowers and stuff. And the weird thing is there was a barrier, like an actual, at concerts or something, like a barrier like that. And there was a security standing there. So there was actually a person, like, full time, I guess, somebody just watching over Jim's grave, which was really strange. So I'm just wondering what people do at that grave that made the people put the security there. So it's pretty weird. So I was standing there, and I looked at Jim's grave, and I had a little internal conversation with him. I obviously didn't say it out loud because that would be just weird. So I was just like in my head just saying, "Hey Jim, yo, dude, I'm really sad that I wasn't alive when you were still making music, because I wish I could have seen you perform live," right? So that was like my little thing that I had with him there, and it's like, "Yo, peace out," and left, right? So that was April 2006. Fast forward just a few months, and I start dating this tour manager who was like the manager of my favorite band, Life of Agony. So it was all via MySpace. MySpace was really interesting. So I met him via MySpace. So I started dating him, and we only met once before in Dublin. And then he actually at some point said, I'm because I didn't know that at the time. He also happened to be like the booking agent for Riders on the Storm, so the still living members of The Doors and The Cult, which is also one of my absolute favorite bands, with like Ian Astbury as a singer. And at the time, the singer of Riders on the Storm was Ian Astbury, and I completely missed all that. And he goes, "Yeah, come to London. They're going to play at the Roundhouse in Camden Town, and you should come and hang out." And I was like, "Okay." By the way, I'm planning to make a t-shirt that says, and I was like, "Okay," because all my stories are somehow like that. So I flew over to London, and I arrived, and we hung out there, and then the thing was, obviously I was backstage, and then at some point I was introduced to Ian Astbury, and I was like, "Yeah, hi, I'm Ian," and I'm like, "I know." And then I shook hands with Raymond Zarek and Robbie Krieger from The Doors, and I was just like, this is the weirdest thing. And I was really thinking of Jim, and it's like, I think he made that happen. I think Jim made this thing happen. It's like really strange. I was standing behind the stage, and there was like they played Riders on the Storm, and I just cried. I was just like, this was just such an incredible experience to see them perform. And it was just all in all, like afterwards we shared a little shuttle bus to the hotel with freaking Ian Astbury sitting there with his son and his girlfriend. And it was just a absolutely surreal experience to be part of that and experience that. And I totally, utterly, and fully am convinced that Jim Morrison did that. Honestly, in April, I stand at his grave and say, I wish I could have seen you perform live. And then in December, I'm actually going to I'm seeing the rest of the band play. How does that happen? How do these things happen, right? So my life is weird, but it's nice. I like it weird as it is like that. So it was pretty nice. It was a pretty cool story, and I just say thanks, Jim, because I'm pretty sure that was him making that happen. That I could see Riders on the Storm. And I mean, Raymond Zarek is dead now as well, so I still had the chance to see him perform. And yeah, that's my story for today's story time. Bye.